listening to the newest episode, and I'm the guy who called in about the name Kai. Stand my ground. But you brought up a point about cursing at children, because I did call some of them buttholes. And I stand by that, too. That's perfectly fine in my book. So, feral or not, calling your child, or maybe a group of kids, a bunch of dingleberries. I have a 7-year-old. I call him a dingleberry quite often. It's funny. It's not really a curse word to me. It's not even an insult. It's like calling someone a clown. I mean, if you said to an adult who brought the clown, that's an insult, and that's a good one. But a kid would be like, oh, bunch of clowns, bunch of dingleberries. But when I call my son a dingleberry, some parents look at me like in shock. And not the kind where I just called my kid the C word, which I haven't done, wink, wink, but they look at me like, did you just say that? I'm like, yeah, it's dingleberry. So barrel or not, calling your child or a couple of children in a funny way, dingleberries.
This could be a don't say gay, actually.
I mean, sure could be, except for, what? Cursing at children in general?
Well, the term dingleberry, I was
Yeah,
thinking could be.
Dingleberry's great though, right? Dingleberry is one of those. I feel that and I'm so thankful to the caller for resurrecting. It's one of those forgotten ones, right? That doesn't get used nearly enough. And I'm happy that it's been resurfaced. I think it's great to call kids dingleberries. Uh, I see no problem with it.
Okay, I'm going to take a different stance.
Hmm.
There's certain phrases in English language that conjure up imagery that even though it might exist in real life, we just don't need to propagate it. And the dingleberry, while I think it's funny, and I think as a child, I didn't, or when I was young, I didn't know what it meant. I just thought it's a funny sounding
Name.
word.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older and you see a dog walking around with poop stuck to its butt dingling, and then you realize that's where the term comes from, it's kind of like, as a dog owner, that's your responsibility to clean that, but you don't want to ever acknowledge it to anybody else. You don't want to, it's just gross.
I hear you. I do hear you on the gross, but I feel that dingleberry as a term, it's one of those, I think your initial childhood reaction is the correct one. It's just a funny word. And so I'm gonna go uh reverse engineer this and say we need to call the poop stuck to a butt something else. That's no longer a dingleberry.
Well, by definition of the game, don't say gay. You have to think of a better term to replace it with, which I don't think you could do.
Man, that is a large task to take on right there, is to find something better than Dingleberry, uh, to speak of poop on an animal's butt. I guess a human's butt for that matter.
It it is hilarious. So back to your initial point, I think it is okay to refer to the children that way
Yeah.
or with an insult. It is funnier for some reason than it would be to call an adult that. Um,
I don't
I'm
know. I
just
think
I personally don't use the term. I'm not offended if somebody else uses it. I don't use the term. Conjures up bad imagery.
it's one of those terms though that I feel could almost diffuse a fight, adult v adult. Like if you were really squaring off, if you were mad at somebody and they called you, stop being a dingleberry, or you said it, I feel that it's hard to stay enraged when dingleberry gets tossed out.
Road rage incident. You both pull over fuming.
You're driving like a dingleberry.
You walk up and the guy just goes, "You freaking dingleberry."
Yeah,
You'd have to laugh.
yeah, of course. You'd have to. Like
You'd have to
all
laugh.
it would let the air out of the room.
Yeah.
I like when dingleberry gets shortened to dingle too, when people just call others dingles.
I don't think I've heard it.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I'm in. I like it.
yeah, it's you're being such a dingle because dingleberry, you know what you're saying. You're saying dingle. You don't need to say the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I like it. Hey, I want to hang out with this listener. He's
yeah,
anti-Kai. He's calling kids buttholes, calling his
and
own kid a
dingleberries.
dingleberry.
Yeah, it's great.
He's got a lot of butt-related humor. To be honest, he might be revealing a little too much here. Excuse me. Okay. Follow up also, I think from last week, talking about Kelly Slater's old band, the Surfers, and you did a
Yes.
lyric reading.
It's beautiful.
You know,
Profound.
we should hold a poetry night
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it. So I Googled the Surfers. Guess what popped up?
Another band or something.
Yes,
Newcomb.
A
Yeah.
Dutch pop group from Haarlem, not Harlem, because there's
Yeah.
two A's in it.
Harlem.
They were in 1978 to 1981. Formed the band due to the popularity of windsurfing in the 70s.
So here, yeah, continue.
Van Kooten, the member and the members and producer, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these Dutch names, decided to write a song about the new craze called windsurfing. And in 1979, I guess a year later, they released another song, Windsurfing Time Again. And it and it made its debut on number 14 on the 14th of July, sorry. The song was recorded on the 4th of August, issue Billboard, peaked at number 5 in the Netherlands and spent 8 weeks on the chart.
So here we go, though. Of course, as you know, when I was researching my story on the surfers for Beach Grit, and not these surfers, those surfers, the Peter King, Rob Machado, Kelly Slater surfers, uh, the Dutch band pops up first and is hard to get away from,
Yep.
which conspiracy. I am feeling very conspiratorial about this. There is no way an obscure Dutch band whose best thing they did was a number 5 hit in the Netherlands, where, I mean, let's be honest, that would dominate the algorithm over Kelly Slater, Rob Machado, and Peter King's band, The Surfers. There's just no way. And so Kelly Slater, I'm gonna say, I'm putting it out here right now, Kelly Slater paid a firm to go scrub reference, as he didn't pay a ton. Like, he didn't need it to be, he knew, Wayback Machine and all this. You can't get stuff off the internet forever. But he bought the, second tier or third tier of internet scrubbing and had somebody go in and just remove as much as they could from the internet.
No, you're right. And also the algorithm is sophisticated enough to know that you spend all your time on surf related content and
Exactly.
searches. And so it would have fed you the one that you're looking for.
Precisely. It
Yeah.
knows. I mean, let's be quite honest. So, I mean, again, there's no way this is not a conspiracy. This is just truth. And I guess putting it on Kelly Slater may be uh the bad part. Rob Machado, I don't see going in and scrubbing. Peter King, I don't see going in and scrubbing. So again, we've narrowed it down to Kelly Slater paid somebody to scrub the surfers offline, which is now the question is, so we know that's truth and fact. The questions are why? Is it because it's like offensive, like the song Not Your Slave, etc.? Is it too revealing? Is it embarrassing for him now looking back and thinking, man, we should not have done that. Like, we like to sit around and noodle on our guitars, but making a record was a step too far. Like, doesn't look good. I mean, why would he scrub it?
Well, first of all, I'm glad to know that this is defined as fact now
Yeah,
and that we can move forward and have the real discussion.
exactly.
And um, the only answer is it's too embarrassing.
Like, so he looks
The
back
only,
and he's like,
well, I think like as an artist,
yeah,
Kelly Slater, the artist, uh, he's evolved in his appreciation, taste in music, and he looks back at the early work and he thinks, I don't want to be associated with this. There's no chance that it becomes some moneymaker.
sure.
It's not as if it's going to have some cult status or following
No,
later in life, and I'm going to sell a bunch of albums. By the way, albums already been printed. We can't make them. We can't make them anyways.
yeah.
So not going to make money on it. Therefore, I'm embarrassed by the work. I'm going to go ahead and just delete that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, which also I feel I've written so many, so troves and troves and troves. I was even laying in bed this morning, woke up, and the first thought I had, I don't know why this was the first thought I had, was how many bad things I've written that are just out there that I can't delete, that I thought were funny at the time, or I thought were provocative, or I thought were, good writing, whatever it is. And it is straight up embarrassing, like ridiculously embarrassing. Uh, and so, yeah. But if you're Kelly Slater, I think he looks back at his life and doesn't see that. He sees only success after success after success, right? From the modeling. Da, 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 da. So I guess this would really stand out to him as was one thing I did that was really embarrassing. It was this.
I think, first of all, with your writing, I think part of the reason why you would never go back and delete it is because it's it's all become white noise. Like the one that you're embarrassed by, the odds of somebody actually reading that and forming some meaningful opinion about it are
Yeah,
slim to none, right?
sure. I
But
mean, yeah, but
let's
it just
say
is what it is also. All of it is my au revoir. All of it's become the embarrassing stuff, the good stuff I've written. It's all one thing, right? It's my work.
what if what if there were serious implications related to one of the pieces?
Like that I was going to get
Let's say canceled. Let's say you wrote something, you're currently offended, you're currently embarrassed by it because it was 15 years ago that you
sure.
wrote it, and there's some other powerful person who is going to use that piece to pin it on you to cancel you currently. Would
Yeah,
you go
I'd
back
be
and delete it?
I mean, if I could delete it and allow that not to happen for sure. But you can't, that will never happen. If that does happen to me, I mean, not that I'll never get canceled. I could very easily, somebody could find something offensive I wrote and print it up and tag it on me and cancel me, and I'd be like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks I wrote that. I don't know what to say. And I would, I guess, tip my cap and go away.
Well, I just Googled the surfers are listed. Okay, this is kind of crazy. They're listed on Spotify, but the image that is used to advertise them, like the banner image along the top, does not have Kelly in it. It's just Rob and Peter.
Amazing. See, I'm telling you, we really stumbled on a good one here. We walked right into a meaningless, but I feel this casts a big, like, I don't know, it increases our understanding of the workings of the mind of Kelly Slater.
It really does, at
Yeah.
least in at least in our mind.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess how many monthly listeners the Surfers has?
I'm gonna say 230.
Not far off, 535.
Nice. Good.
But I bet that's spiked based on our show last week.
For sure. For sure. I don't think anybody's talked about the surfers in years, and now they've been both talked about and written about. I mean, you got to think some of those Spotify listens for sure are bots too, right? And so the bots are listening to the show, and bots now are going in and checking out. Yeah, but so it's only raw. Yeah, and it doesn't say who's in the band on Spotify.
It does. If you click over on the right, it does show that as well. Um, and it just is very brief. It says, let me see. When the top surfers in the world form a band, they have no choice of what to be called. The surfers are Kelly Slater, Rob Machado, and Peter King.
Okay,
I don't know who wrote that.
he didn't go in and scrub. I mean, that seems like it's AI.
Yeah, it does. So there's another band called the Surfers from 1992, and they have an album called Shells, and it's all like Hawaiian names for the songs. But I'm having a hard time finding the other surfers. Anyways,
Songs from the pipe.
yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, moving on. Glad that we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah. Kelly Slater's a weird dude.
Out there scrubbing the net in his
Yep.
free time. In surf news, segment that gets shorter and shorter every week. Nazare just got greenlit. Looks like the swell forecast is going to send 60-foot surf. The Florence Pipe Pro is currently running day two while you and I are
Oh,
talking.
is it? I got to get it live on Beach Grit.
I think it is. Let me double check. Or are you double checking right now?
Nope.
Okay, I will double check while we're talking. I meant to pull it up so that I could watch while we were talking.
Did you watch day one?
Oh, it's not running yet.
Okay.
Safe.
Close.
I watched highlights from day one.
I just saw one screen grab of one wave and thought, wow. And then don't know why I didn't watch any highlight or any of it at all.
They only ran like not even the whole opening round of the men. I think it was
Was it
eight
pumping?
heats or something. No, it was okay. I mean, there were
Okay.
good waves. I think there was some backdoor, but it wasn't. No, it was not pumping.
I like how angry I get at the World Surf League for not airing really up on a soapbox. Mad at the World Surf League for not airing Sunset nor Haleiwa. And then they air pipe and I can't be bothered watching it.
Okay. Okay. I just pulled it up. I originally pulled it up on my phone on the app and it was not playing, but now here on their website, it is.
So day two is on?
Day two is on. Do you want to take a break and put it up?
Nope, I got it all teed up already. I just have to press publish. Look at
Okay.
this. Real time surf journalism.
Yeah, so it looks like they completed 9 heats on day one, and now they're on heat 11, Mason hose in the water. So this is the second heat of the morning. Also on day one, they did run some of the women's event as well. So, anyways, we'll be kind of watching it off to the side, I guess, while we do this podcast. The other story, or kind of most salacious headline coming out this week, is quote Bethany Hamilton says WSL threatened to financially neuter surfers who spoke out against the trans policy. That was an article from beachgrit.com written by Chaz Smith. Chaz, say more.
Ouch. Yeah, Bethany was on a podcast. The name of the podcast, somebody commented in the comments section on Beach Grit. I think it is called The Cultural Apothecary, which is so annoyingly
So annoying.
exactly what it is. Like, I know I never need to listen to a word of that because I know everything that's going to get said. But apparently I didn't know that Bethany Hamilton coming out swinging once again against the World Surf League. So yeah, she claimed that back when the World Surf League did their trans policy, which talk about scrubbing the net. Like I went to try to find what the original, because the World Surf League was, everybody recalls a couple years ago, was really on the bleeding edge of being progressive, right?
Yes.
Like really, it's equality, pay equality. It is Tyler Wright taking the knee. It is LGBTQ flags on jerseys. Da 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 da.
Jesse Miley Dyer front and center, even though she
Yeah,
wasn't qualified for the job.
yeah, exactly. Like really the face of the brand. And then so the trans policy, always confusing to me when it came out because the World Surf League just said they were adopting the ISA's, the International Surfing Association's trans policy,
Right.
uh, which, and the wording of these things is murky, but apparently it was just basically that as long as whatever, a male had transitioned to a female, he could surf or she could surf in the women's side of the draw, right?
Yep.
So as I was researching this anyway yesterday, I went to World Surf League, found their press release about this, which was just basically two sentences, which was, we are following the ISA's guidelines. Don't explain what the guidelines are. Don't provide any further clarity. Just we are following the ISA guideline, and add a link to the ISA guideline. Click on the link to the ISA guideline. Oops, page not found. So in any case, I don't know if they've changed their policy or what's going on there, but Bethany Hamilton claimed on the Cultural Apothecary that yeah, surfers were threatened with a $10,000 fine if they spoke out. And that's what the headline said against the trans policy. But I went and read then some of the transcript here, and she was saying, yeah, surfers were going to get fined $10,000 for speaking negatively about the World Surf League in any way, right? And I was thinking, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, sure, that's lame, but also I'm sure every sports league has that exact same rule, right? Baseball players are not allowed to say negative things about Major League Baseball, football players, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was thinking, well, maybe, I don't know. It didn't seem as egregious on the nose as I suppose Bethany was meaning it. I mean, Bethany went down the path that it was meant to silence surfers about the trans thing, but it seemed like it just a general World Surf League rule that is in line with other sporting leagues, good or bad.
Um, it's what's funny now is that it was all clearly just performative.
Yeah,
Like Bethany aside, but just them making a statement about a trans policy. There's news or there's a cultural zeitgeist happening that 3 months. And they're like, we can get in the news, or we can make headlines in the news by just stating something about the trans policy. And that's all they do. And it doesn't really matter. Like there's no surfer coming up the QS ranks that
no,
actually might, qualify for the CT who is
yeah,
trans or anything like that. That's not even a remote
it's not even in
possibility.
reality. Yeah.
No, they're only making a statement just to be performative to try to curry favor and make headlines.
I mean, completely 100%. And I feel this was true of that entire regime. And again, let's not, I suppose, paint the current regime with the same brush as the former regime, right? This seemed like it was very much, and not to kick anyone under the bus here, But yeah, a product of kind of Dave Prodan, Jesse Dyer, and Eric Logan were thought as a marketing wise, and maybe they really believed it too. Uh, let's go full woke. This is where, 4 years ago, that was a good move to do. And they totally went for it. The fact, I mean, you said it already, just performative. There was no meat on those bones. It was pure, which it appeared at the time that way too, right? They were doing such a schlocky job of it that it didn't feel like, oh, this is coming from a place of actual core belief, right? That
Not at
they
all.
believe that the ocean is for everyone, and we're going to be on the front foot here of not only equality between men and women, but the equal rights everywhere, all of it. No, they don't believe that for 1 second. Or if they did, their belief was so shallow that as soon as uh, culture moved another direction, they were so happy to turn another direction too.
I mean, I don't think they believed it even at that time because all you would do is peel back one layer of the thing and realize that they actually don't support it. You know,
But
what with it when it's female, when it's equality, parity for men and women, it's like, well, why aren't there the same number of surfers on tour? Why
yeah,
aren't the feeder systems built the same way? The
yeah,
only thing that's the same is that the top 17 males make the same amount now as the top 17 females.
yes. I mean,
But there's 32 males and there's
but
only 17 females.
but I feel both Jesse Miley Dyer and Dave Prodan were regularly on podcasts doing the talking stuff about all of it, right? They
Yeah.
were Yeah, I mean, I felt they believed it, but now do they not? I mean,
They
in
believe
general,
they believed in getting the messaging out there is what they believed in.
yeah. And now the messaging or what works as messaging
Yeah. The mic just got
changed.
better.
Yeah, and so
Your
the
mic just got better.
yeah, just I don't know why it was off. Sweet. Uh, yeah, it's I don't know. But again, that's the WSL. That's has been what it's been. It's always been a performative goose show.
Yeah. Well, the Florence Pie Pro, are you streaming it right now while we're
No,
talking?
should I be?
No, I'm watching it. It's not good.
Okay.
It looks like one of those mornings that maybe needs to suss itself out and it'll get better throughout the course of the day, but it's not big. It's maybe head high at best.
And this is a QS 2000, if I'm
I
not
know it's
mistaken.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. Um, so well, final kind of note on Bethany. To be clear, she didn't get fined. She didn't get fined the $10,000.
I don't know. She said she didn't, but I think she had already she wasn't going to surf WSL events anymore anyway, right?
Right,
So I think
right.
she had ostensibly retired and so was not, I think maybe if she went back and tried to go theoretically, if she wanted to go surf an event, theoretically, I suppose they could fine her for speaking bad about the World Surf League.
Yeah, she was outspoken at the time, and I remember that was part of the conversation. So I wouldn't have been surprised if this new reveal was that she did get fined back then at the time.
And
But glad
yeah,
to hear
no.
she did not.
No, she did not get fined. But again, back to one more word about the performative nature of, I guess it's all around us. It's just a bummer that surfing, because it doesn't have to be performative. None of this stuff had to be performative. They could have made a policy that they actually believed in on down the line from environmentalism to everything, right? I mean, everything the World Surf League does is such a pure sham that it's just a bummer because it doesn't have to be. There is a reason for surfers to be environmentally aware and to do our best, right? All of this stuff. We don't have to do this performatively.
Well, I think there's also at that time they easily could have adopted that policy, included it in the rule book, and never said a word about it.
Sure. Yeah. It's
The
just to
fact
be,
that the fact that they're blasting it out on the megaphone is proof that it's just performative.
I mean, again, to your point though, or they could have not made any policy because it doesn't matter
Right.
until
Yeah.
they needed to make a policy, until there was a reason for there to be a policy.
Yeah, totally. Um, the other thing that was big for me this week in surf news, but I haven't seen any Beach Grid or anybody else comment about it, was Sterling Spencer's interview with Tom Curren.
Fantastic.
You watched it?
I've only watched some of it. I
Okay.
watched the Instagram clips, but I need to go and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I've been making my way through it a little bit. I'm about halfway through. It's very good. First of all, kudos to Sterling. I've only ever really watched his Instagram clips as well. I don't listen to a lot of surf podcast content other than because I'm creating it so much, but his YouTube video production stuff is way better than it needs to be. Like it's very
Phenomenal.
well done.
I mean, I would imagine though that that's leading to lots of growth for him there, right? It's
Yeah,
got to
of
be like
course.
the
Yeah.
quality that's got to be attracting all kinds of new listeners and viewers.
We ought to be doing the same, and
Uh-huh.
I endeavor to in 2026. So look forward to that. I'll be using him as a guiding light, actually. But
Great.
beyond that, this is the best Tom Curren interview I've seen.
I mean, I feel it's because the clips I've seen, like Tom feels very comfortable with Sterling. I mean, I
Yes,
think both of them are kind of weirdos, and it just really flows. Like it's funny, and Sterling has always been great at like Sterling stuff that he used to do with Rob Machado. Sterling's the stuff that he does with pro surfers is like those pro surfers' finest moments, I think, publicly
I do too.
or
And
media wise.
well, Tom also doesn't get the credit he deserves for being as deep as he is.
Yeah,
And I'll be honest, I've been critical of that, feeling like he was maybe vapid. Um, what he is though is I'm now reflecting his manner of speech. He takes a long time to deliver a thought, and Sterling will let him sit in it. Where I feel like a lot of other interviewers don't want the dead air and they'll just like,
yeah,
stampede over it. But Sterling will tee up something and Tom will just like start looking into space kind of introspectively. But if you give him enough time, what he ends up delivering is thoughtful
yeah.
and deep. It just takes them a minute to get there. And I think they do play well together because Sterling's sense of humor is that way too. Like Sterling will say something that you don't realize until 20 seconds later was a joke, and Tom gets it.
Yeah, it was really a wonderful pairing, and I want to see more Sterling interview. Not I don't want to throw those pearls before swine. Like I wouldn't care about Sterling interviewing yeah, like I don't know, somebody boring, right? But like just think how good a Sterling Gabriel Medina interview would be.
I mean, there is nobody boring if Sterling's the interviewer.
I guess so. I guess so. But or somebody like all media trained who is just going to
Yeah.
serve up platitudes.
Well, what else is funny is or not funny, but just my perspective on it from having interviewed people is he didn't craft, let's say, interview questions or anything like that. But what he did was really savvy, which was go pull a bunch of old footage and video or footage and photos and discuss it with him and get Tom to tell stories about those videos and photos, So it was really allowing Tom to kind of lead the ship. But here, I mean, the one that you saw on Instagram, I'm sure, was about the Rip Curl watch
I said
ad.
yeah, I saw that one, but I also the one that made me really chuckle was the Jerry Lopez one.
Oh, about the soft tops.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So
You're right.
funny.
That one was very good. And
Yeah.
that's a way to like take a very charged conversation that somebody would normally like dance around politically and give it and just force him to kind of confront it in a comedic way. And to be honest, Tom came back with as much comedy as Sterling.
I mean, it was a zinger. It was perfect. It set that whole bit up. It was wonderful.
It was really well played. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But, anyways, with him showing the video and the photos, Tom starts giving these kind of very insightful um, conversations about surfboard design. Like here's him on a board on the beach at J Bay with a board. Oh, that's a Skip Fry. You know what? Derek Hine actually owned that board. I was borrowing it from Derek Hine, and we were riding it at Albatross, this other section of J Bay that's not as, that's more soft, and that board's perfect for that. And like getting deep into the weeds of the stuff was, again, insightful, deep surf insight if you're a nerdy surfer.
I mean, it's the kind of quote unquote, I never liked the phrase talk story, but it is, I guess it's become so ubiquitous in surf now that whatever. But like the talk story element surfers like, right? They like
Yeah.
oddly. I mean, surf nerd surfers like long rambling deep dives into very trivial things. I suppose it goes hand in hand with what surfing is. It's the most trivial thing that you spend maximum amount of time on. And so, yeah, I suppose our storytelling is the same.
Does that phrase exist outside of surfing?
No, I
I
think
don't
it's
think so either.
no, it doesn't. I mean, in Hawaii, it does. Like it's pigeon, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's like external to surfing talk story going on in the islands. Like, but yeah,
Well, I know you said you never liked the term. I liked the term because it again, if we're going to apply don't say gays rules to this, it very concisely explained a certain thing, and I couldn't think of a better term to explain that thing.
yeah. I mean, it's like I've come to accept it now for what it is. It's always, I just don't like I don't know. Yeah, whatever. My hangups with like when a weird pigeon phrase gets tossed around by surfers, I feel wanting to sound surfy. I
Yeah.
feel that's where talk story. But yeah, again, I feel it's
Uh, Now that I'm thinking about it, the alternative terms are even more annoying to me. If somebody said I'm a storyteller,
oh yeah.
or we're gonna have storytelling time,
Yeah.
that's
The
more annoying.
the one I would prefer to replace it with is it would be talking story, not
Okay,
talk
yeah, I'm
story.
fine with that. Sure.
Yeah, t talking story doesn't sound so like, oh, we're all trying to be pigeony here, right?
Right.
It sounds like it's a talking story. It's
Right.
like a specific sort of surf, yeah, meander down memory lane.
Okay. I've got another listener call. We got a bunch of listener. You know what? We're catching up on listener calls from previous weeks that I haven't been playing them actually. But this one, let's see. It's about surf. Hold on, sorry. Oh, here we go. I clicked the wrong button. Hold on.
I was gonna say that's a monster call right there.
No, it is not.
I was thinking while you're looking, I was also thinking this morning, we just spent a good whatever 10 minutes, 15 minutes talking about Sterling's show. I think we're the only people in surf media that ever once talk about any other surf media. It's
Dude,
really weird
that's crazy.
how siloed it is. It's true. The inertia will never talk about, I mean, the inertia might throw the Sterling stuff up or whatever, but yeah, like nobody ever, Washington Post, New York Times, blah, 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 they're always referencing each other. Like surf media for some reason is so scared
It's fear.
of each other.
Well, it's fear of um giving notoriety to somebody else because then
But is
that
it, do they think
subjugates
it's like
their
a,
position.
I mean, I've always been, when I was doing beef back in the day, I mean, I think I even brought this up with Ashton, right? Of like, I don't get it. It's not a zero sum game. It's not
Right.
like one person can only go to one surf website and that's all they go to. Like rising tide floats all boats, but it's so
I
weird.
I feel that it certainly does. And I've even had conversations with back in the day Stab and Surfer over the years of like, I'll just give you the content. Like
Yeah.
I'm generating all these interviews all the time. There's whether you want the whole interview or just some portion of it that's relevant to whatever it is that you've got going on, I will transcribe it. I will give it to you with the assets, with the video, everything. Just ask.
And the
Never hear anything.
crazy town. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy how afraid surf media is of surf media.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well,
anyway,
here's a listener
digress.
call. Listener call. Great.
With a question for you.
Start
Hey
it.
guys, Taylor here from NorCal, with a question for you. I was trying to figure out, is there a piece of music that just wouldn't work in a surf film? I've got a almost 700 song playlist of songs that I've enjoyed hearing in surf films and clips and edits, and I listen to it a lot. It just brings me good memories. It makes me happy. And I think it comes down to the editing. I think so long as anything is edited well to the music that's going, it's going to come across all right. You could set it to classical if you wanted to. There is one exception. And a friend recently sent me a rip of a 1991 Quicksilver, like their summer line video from 1991. And somebody must have been a huge Twin Peaks fan because they set these still images of day glow board shorts and stills of team riders surfing to the theme from Twin Peaks, and it does not work at all. If you guys want to see how bonkers it is, I'll send it over to you. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. All right. Take care. Have an awesome holiday.
Did he send?
He did not send, but
Dang
do you know the Twin Peaks theme song?
I
Can I
need to
play it?
be refreshed.
Yeah, let's play it real quick. You'll recognize it. Did you watch Twin Peaks?
It's one of those ones that I just missed, right? I feel I need to culturally go into
Yeah.
it. I've caught episodes before.
You can't appreciate it just watching an episode.
Yeah, I know. Like I need to set aside time and actually watch it, like put the phone down, darken the room, sit and study. Because I love David Lynch.
Yeah, I didn't watch it in real time, but 5 or 7 years ago, I was working on some projects on the computer where I had it needed 50% of my attention, but I could also stream content on my phone off to the side. So I was like, I need something to binge, long, lots of episodes. So I started Twin Peaks. I loved it.
Yeah, I got to do it.
It was really good. Anyways, this is the theme song. I could imagine exactly what the listener said. This does not work with surfing.
No, but I think it could. Or hold on. No, it couldn't. But the reason is not because the music itself. I feel it's because it's try hard, right? If you're trying to reference Twin Peaks in your surf film, you're already being a butthole.
That's a great point.
Like,
full dingleberry move.
You're being a full ding because you're thinking look at how cultured I am. Look at how avant-garde I'm going to be here. But it's way too on the nose avant-garde, and it belongs to Twin Peaks, right?
Yeah, that's a problem. It is so synonymous with Twin Peaks that there's no way to actually have any other thought once you're hearing the music.
Yeah, and to some things are just what they are so big or are so that thing that you can't plug and play.
What do you think of what imagery do you conjure up when you hear the Verve's Bittersweet Symphony?
Dun 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 dun. What words come up?
No, I think of Cruel Intentions. They use that song at the end of the film, Cruel Intentions.
Yes.
And it was seared in my brain forevermore. Even though I've heard the song 1,000 times without the film, I still think of the film when I hear the song.
Okay, but you could set a surf tune though to
that's true.
Bittersweet Symphony because it's not so synonymous. It's not try hard because I think you could also, it doesn't just have to be synonymous with, I feel you could set a surf movie or a surf clip to Darth Vader's march from Star Wars, right? Dun 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 dun. And it's not try hard. It's just, it might not be funny, it might not work, but it wouldn't be wildly annoying like I would imagine Twin Peaks. It's the try hard thing, which annoys.
You know what you couldn't do?
What?
Jaws theme song.
Dun dun. You don't think you could? I bet you could. A big wave, like the waves coming up, stacking out the back. Dun 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 dun. Because it's not try hard though. Everybody, it's so pop culture.
I mean, dumb, you could do it.
Work.
You could do it. Sterling Spencer could do it to edit something for a point, but that would never be the right choice of music. You could find a far better choice of music for whatever the surf footage is if you're just making a surf clip.
I think I have a whole genre that wouldn't work. Polka. I don't think you could make surf clips to polka.
Wipeout section.
That's true. I mean, anything goes in the wipeout section.
The more zany, the better. Usually.
Yeah, it's true.
I do agree with this listener that editing has a lot to do with it. There's so many songs that I wouldn't think would work over the years that I've seen. I'm like, this song, I know this song, and it represents something in my mind. And the way that it's edited with the surfing that's being done redefines the song for me.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's true. Almost anything goes. I've been waiting, to be quite frank, for a classically scored film, or at least clip.
Well, this can be your next big project.
Yeah, to the classical music.
The one that surprised me the most that was redefined was 2 or 3 years ago. Craig Anderson dropped an edit. Maybe Former dropped it for Craig. I forget. I think Kai Neville was involved. And the closing section was him getting barreled in slow motion somewhere tropical and blue at a pretty doubled up reef pass. And it was Willie Nelson's Blue Skies.
Nice. Good.
And it's a song we all know. It's a song that you don't think would fit surfing, but it worked perfectly in the edit.
Great.
And we love
Smart.
and it like revitalized my love of that song. And
Yeah.
much like this listener was like, you know what? Adding that song to the playlist and it's back in rotation ever since.
Thanks,
Um,
Craig.
I also love the idea that he has a 700 long
From surf
playlist.
from surf films.
Well, I used to, from the earliest Taylor Steele films that I had, record the soundtrack, which, he wasn't publishing the soundtrack on a cassette tape or anything like that. This was before CDs even. I would take the boombox, put it up to the speaker of the television, click play and record so that you could record onto a blank cassette. Or if you had an old cassette that you didn't want, there's a
Record
little
over.
tab on the top, yeah, that you could put a
Yep.
piece of tape over. And then you click play and record, and you would record the soundtrack. And then me and my friends would be outside playing baseball or something, and I would play the soundtrack to Good Times, and a certain song would come on. And I'm like, yeah, this is Chris Malloy's section, and I could
Yeah.
envision him doing a turn at that point in the song. Like this was like important stuff.
It's amazing to look back and think about the horrible quality of music that we would be like, yeah, that's good. I remember recording over cassettes so many times that they would just get garbled, but you'd
Yeah,
still just put it in and listen. And just like, I'm just listening to mushy junk right now, but I'm like, oh, this is cool. Getting
I
it.
didn't mind. I didn't mind the poor quality.
No, I didn't.
It,
Yeah, I knew there
it
was
was
better quality, but it didn't bum me out that I was listening to poor quality stuff.
it was just part of life.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing, so part of this segment is just to pay homage to the great music and the great musical choices that were made throughout all of surf film history. But I was watching Chris Malloy being interviewed, and he was talking about the film Shelter, which was his first kind of, actually, second kind of big surf film. And he was saying that I think for years prior to making the film, he had been storyboarding it and accumulating music that he liked long before he ever started making the film. Then he rented an old farmhouse in Australia and went down there, stayed for 6 months, invited friends to come. Some friends would come, stay for 2 months, 1 month, some just a couple of weeks. And that was how the film was made. But that idea of storyboarding it and accumulating songs and assets for years prior to actually pushing record is just something of the past that
Yeah.
nobody would
No,
do nowadays.
no, but that's quality. That's why it's a quality film.
I mean, incredible. And the music was so impactful.
Yeah.
Like it did define a lot of my personality and preferences from that point forward to this day.
Thanks, Malloy.
So yeah, Chris Malloy, one of my favorites. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, I got a Don't Say Gay actually this week.
Great. We teased a couple already, but time to sink our teeth into a real one.
I mean, it really feels like it's just it all falls together this way often into a theme. So here we go. Oh, I turned my volume down again. Sorry. Here we go.
Chaz and David, this is John from Rhode Island calling into the grit with a Don't Say Gay. Driving home right now and just saw a husband and a wife do a Chinese fire drill at a stoplight successfully, which was pretty epic to see, but had me thinking, Chinese fire drill, is that a Don't Say Gay? I don't know. I'll leave it up to the experts. Work.
So this is tangential to another conversation that we had years ago, not in this same segment of the show, but the Chinese wax job.
Chinese wax job, Chinese fire drill. It's totally appropriate. I don't even know why it's a Chinese fire drill, to be quite frank.
So I looked it up while that call was playing, and Google's AI says a Chinese fire drill gets its name from 19th century racist stereotypes associating Chinese people with incomprehensible speech and chaotic situations, applying to both a prank where people scramble around a car and a metaphor for extreme confusion and disorder stemming from xenophobia and misinterpretations of Chinese culture. The phrase was popularized in the 50s and 60s for the prank and later by soldiers describing chaotic events through its origins or though its origins are rooted in prejudice.
Okay, I'm going to say AI is wrong. I'm going to say
I think that too. That's what I
AI
thought.
misread the internet on that one. I don't think it was whoever has thought that the Chinese people are chaotic and disorganized.
Not I.
No, I don't think that is a cultural stereotype of China, right? I mean, maybe you go to Shanghai or Beijing or whatever, and it's a big chaotic city, but I don't think the Chinese immigrant in America was considered chaotic.
Well, correct. And even if it's chaotic in Shanghai, what does that have to do with a fire drill?
Yeah, I mean, completely. Yeah,
That's
no.
they're not related.
I'm gonna say it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the root is. I don't know why. I'll do some digging on this one, but I'm gonna say it's totally okay because again, uh, it's not a negative depiction of China or Chinese culture
I personally
running
never
around a car.
I never thought that it was either. And the running around the car isn't a negative thing either. It's not
No,
as
it's
if
fun.
those people are displaying some, you know, bad behavior. And so you're
No,
labeling it Chinese. It's actually functional behavior that they're displaying. But and then with
and or
Chinese,
funny behavior, like when you're a kid and did it, right? When you get to a stoplight and everybody gets out and runs around and see if you can get back in the car by the time the light turns green.
right. The other one, Chinese wax job, we did research years ago when it came up in conversation. We also couldn't find the origin of that.
No, but I feel that one is could be theoretically more racist, like incompetence. But again, I think we discussed this on the show at the time. Chinese people, that incompetence is not, I don't think, one of the negative stereotypes of a Chinese person.
It is not. The other explanation that we came up with at the time, for the record, Chinese wax job is when the bottom of your board gets waxed. So I have a bunch of boards behind me. They're laying up against each other. The deck of one is touching the bottom of the other. It's going to get wax on the bottom. That's a Chinese wax job.
You got some Chinese wax jobs going on back there.
So the only other theory that we had at the time was that China is the bottom side of the earth compared to where we're at in America. So the
Yes.
bottom of the board, bottom of the earth, there would be. But I don't know that that's actually the origins of it.
No, I mean, I could, with Chinese wax job again, I could think that, especially a few years back, nobody, Chinese people were not known to be surfers. I don't think there was. And so just the Chinese wax job is what do you do with this thing? Oh, you wax it on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but still, that's just has more to do with uh, lack of knowledge or a lack of awareness than it does actual incompetence.
I agree. So the other thing to factor in here is I've stated before that there's in any given time in American history, there's always one nation or culture that it is okay to be racist about.
Yep.
And right now it's probably Russia.
Yeah.
Like you could say whatever you want about Russian people, any stereotype, any bad thing, and any other American will look the other way, or they'll laugh actually. They
Yeah.
won't call you racist. But
No.
if you said something equally as problematic about a black person, an Asian person, any other nationality on the planet, you will absolutely get vilified.
Yeah.
Rightfully.
And even to make it, I mean, more clear, like if you were making fun, I think you could even make fun of like Slavic people right now, right? Russians are Slavs. I think you could go all in on a Slavic stereotyping and be okay.
Yeah. And a decade ago, it was Middle Easterners, probably,
Yeah.
maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And that's shifted. You're not now, that's not socially acceptable. So
Raghead is out of the out of the vernacular.
my point is that when these terms were popular, certainly in our youth, I think Chinese people were more maligned.
Yeah.
And so they did this Chinese fire drill had a little bit more sting on it back then than it does now. We're so far removed from that. And to your point, um, Chinese Americans have done well for themselves.
Yeah.
And so they're almost, the joke doesn't make sense anymore,
I
even
I
if
mean,
it was a joke back then.
and even with I still don't, I mean, if it's describing chaos, because running around a car. I mean, that's the only version of Chinese fire drill I know. I never AI. Who knows what it knows about U.S. soldiers calling chaotic situations Chinese fire drills?
Yeah.
But the entire thing, it's not chaotic. It's well organized.
True. That's a
I
good
mean,
point.
you have
So
somebody
it's a
getting,
compliment.
yeah, it is.
It's a,
It's
it was mistaken because they used the word Chinese and it was like had some sort of weight to the term. It was misinterpreted, but it was
nobody
always
gets
intended as a compliment.
nobody gets out in a Chinese fire drill and like runs willy-nilly everywhere. Everybody knows basically which makes that snap decision of which direction is the right direction to go. Maybe somebody takes a wrong step, but then quickly gets back in line. You're all
No,
running the same way. You're like, it's highly organized. To get
it
it
is.
right is yeah, difficult.
This is a great point. It often takes us a long time to get to the real most important point. That is a great point. The Chinese fire drill is perhaps the most effective economy of motion I've ever
Yes,
witnessed in my life.
it's
There is
totally
not one
true.
misstep. You get four people running around a car. There's only two ways to run.
Yeah,
Often people are going to run into one another. They're going to smash it. No, not in a Chinese fire drill.
no.
It is orchestrated with grace.
And also, people like performing at maximum capability. Nobody's jogging during the Chinese fire drill. You got to
No,
get in the car. Like, but you also can't be out of control sprinting where you're going to fall down. So everybody is well oiled.
nobody gets run over by any other vehicles.
Nope.
Nobody gets run over by their own car. In
Nope.
any other scenario of somebody exiting their vehicle in a traffic, in the middle of a street or a road or anything, there is liability for
Yeah.
to get maimed for the rest of your life, if not killed. In a Chinese fire drill, never happens.
I mean, absolutely 100%. Look at all the subway surfing, for example, accidents and incidents, and, it's horrific and all this. If there was ever once a death during a Chinese fire drill, we would know about it. It would have been front page news. There would have been, news conferences given about the dangers and horrors of the Chinese fire drill trend, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody's ever died. Nobody's ever even got hurt.
Nope.
Everyone has been
So,
successful.
so to the listeners' question, we are keeping Chinese fire drill, and in fact, we may start. I may start reenacting it myself.
If somebody referred to this show as a Chinese fire drill, I couldn't be complimented more.
I would love to be associated with the good people of China.
Please.
Um, what was I going to say? It's one final thought. Oh well, we're keeping it. That's all.
Good. Good.
Okay, what else do we got? I've got some after the break conversations to revisit and then some barrels or Nas.
Great.
All right, Chaz, welcome back from the break. UFO follow-up from last week.
New one.
New one. So, hey guys, just adding some insight into the UFO conversation from last week. I live in Ventura on a hill overlooking the spot where the images were captured. The night of the Surfline images, I was actually walking my dogs around 6:30 p.m. and noticed what looked like a shooting star, except very close to the ground and much larger than you would expect. I thought it was interesting, but didn't think too much of it at the time and usually chalk things like this up to SpaceX in Vandenberg. Now, I'm super curious and can only assume it was related, and I personally witnessed an alien spacecraft. Take from this what you will, Andrew and Ventura.
Let's hope. Let's hope, Andrew. It's good to hear, though. It's good to hear that action was happening in those skies.
I mean, we have an eyewitness on the ground who saw an anomaly, chalked it up to something different, but went home, saw the footage online, and was like, oh my God, other people captured
Re-examined.
it too.
Except, though, the Vandenberg thing is, and is SpaceX up there? I didn't know SpaceX was up there.
Apparently.
The Vandenberg thing certainly, though, does cast certain amount of, I don't know, a pall on this really being UFO. The fact that there is a major U.S. Air Force base up there. I think it's Air Force, isn't it, Vandenberg?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. But I don't think it does because there's other documented UFO activity at that base, around that
Yeah,
base.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
UFOs, Maru.
may verify it. The other big topic of conversation this past week was fedoras. I've completely lambasted the fedora last week. You held out a little bit of
I did.
reserve, whatever, for it. I got lots of feedback on it, but turns out I was a little bit mistaken about the definition of a fedora.
Tell me.
Well, everybody sends in all these photos of what I don't deem as a fedora. Um, and then I Googled what is a fedora. Turns out it's a wide variety of hats. I only envisioned it as the one with the narrow brim that's folded down in the front and flipped up in the back.
Okay.
I see you now. Okay.
But apparently the brim doesn't have to be folded in that
Yeah.
way. It can be a wider brim, like a medium range brim. Some even bigger to me looks like a cowboy hat, but it's not a cowboy hat. So Fedora has a little bit of range.
So you are walking it back a little bit, but you're staying firm on the one you had in mind.
Correct.
Okay. So
Correct.
not all the broad big tent fedora you're okay with in certain occasions on certain people. The specific pinch flip, nobody,
I've never seen that look good.
no time, no place.
But one email came through. I won't read them all to you, but one said, "Hey, DLS and Charles, longtime listener. Since Chris Cote episode, 12 years. That was my very first episode of Surf Splendor, was with Chris Cote when they closed Trans World Surf magazine. Anyways, he says, and maybe seventh time emailer, listening to your latest great episode, and I thought the Dogtown skaters made fedoras look cool, at least in my book, and it's the only reason I ever bought and wore one. Behold, photos attached. Happy holidays. Thanks for all the years of awesome listening. Regards, Max." So there was two main pieces of evidence that people submitted, or two main people that people submitted as evidence that came through multiple times each, and it was Christian Asoy and Tony Alva.
Yeah. But I hate to say this. I don't think either look good in a fedora.
Mm.
I think both of them look like it's unnecessary. They both look try hard. It's weird.
I actually agree with you. It's
Yeah.
hard to argue against Tony Alva when he's doing an air off the coping in a pool back in the day, and there's a pit bull standing in the foreground, and he's got that hat smashing down like a, big curly hair. It looks cool. I mean, all the other things in it look cool, but you're right, the hat still doesn't look cool.
Yeah, no. I mean, you take the hat out of that picture and it doesn't diminish the picture at all.
No, you're right. The picture is super cool. The hat's the least cool part.
Yeah, and the picture is so cool that it absolves the sins of the hat, I think.
Yeah, it
But
does. You're right.
the hat doesn't make the picture.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
I stand firm in my position then.
yeah.
Sorry, Christian Asoy, you're just getting bundled up in this mess. Um, Barrel or not, while we're on the conversation, barrel or not, top hat. You guys talk about fedoras and bucket hats, but where has the top hat gone? I grew up dreaming of a scenario where I would be rich enough and fancy enough to don a top hat, but times have changed so much that even if I won the lotto today, I doubt that I could pull it off. Nor could I imagine Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos executing that level of flair, and probably rightfully because they don't have that panache. But is it time to bring back the top hat, barrel or not?
Okay, so I think where the top hat still exists is probably other places as well, but I know for a fact in like English monarchy. I don't know what thing they go to, but you see those pictures, it's like feels like it's for a specific day, time thing where you see them in their gray, I think typically top hats. It's not like the Abe Lincoln top hat that I conjure when I think of top hats, but it is a version of the top hat, right? And so I feel but yeah, it feels like you could never bring it back. If they did, say Vanity Fair did their Vanity Fair party and it was like super black tie, uh men, wear a top hat. It would all come off so weird. It would come off like such a costume show. I don't know that you could wear a top hat legitimately. Because again, as discussed on the show, in order to wear something, you cannot be wearing it and aware of it, right? You can't be thinking about it. I think there's no scenario where you put a top hat on and aren't fairly constantly thinking about your top hat through the evening.
You're definitely discussing it because every single person who comes up to you has to comment on it.
Yeah, it would be nice or cool top hat, man.
I'm thinking of somebody who I'm almost certain I've seen wearing a top hat in recent years.
Oh, Slash.
Oh, I didn't even think of him. You're right. Okay, so we got two now. I was going to
Yeah.
say Pharrell Williams.
Yeah. Oh, Pharrell's is not actually a top hat. Pharrell's is like just a huge hat. That thing it was just like it was a tall hat, but it wasn't a top hat.
I bet he's worn a top hat too. I've seen him wear a lot of different hats.
That's true. Pharrell wears many hats. He's the creative
But
director of Louis Vuitton.
he's also though
musician.
his he mixes and match like any photo you see, he's mixed and matched a bunch of different things that wouldn't work. They don't work even with him, but it's all just become like it's actually defines exactly what we're talking about. Is it's so far outside of the rule that it kind of
And
defines our rule.
yeah, exactly. I mean, so, but to listener wanting to wear a top hat, you don't have to become rich and famous. You just have to become a rock and roller. Like you
Yeah,
can throw a
rock and
top
roll
hat on
eccentric.
without a shirt, smoking a cigarette, hair in your eyes. There you
Yeah,
go.
Johnny Depp could probably pull it off.
Johnny Depp could pull it off. Yeah. You need to
Lenny
be a rock and
Kravitz.
roller. Yeah, for sure. That's what it
Yeah.
is. So you can wear a top hat if you rock and roll.
These are people who also could wear multiple scarves.
Yeah, that's true. It's the same exact rule. Yes, Steven Tyler could wear a top hat. No problem.
If you, and not just a scarf, if
No,
you are accustomed to wearing three scarves at a time and often the size of a blanket or a throw,
you can wear a top
you
hat.
can wear a top hat.
Great.
That's the
I'm
qualifier.
Yeah, I'm glad we got it because that person is clearly person wearing three scarves is also not aware. They're not thinking about their three scarves. They're just dressing.
It's definitely not because it's cold.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, it's just they're going to wear it
What
because
they
that's
do.
what they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, good. Good luck bringing back the top hat, whoever that listener was. By the way, you mentioned Abraham Lincoln. I saw something on the internet recently. Did you know he was a licensed bartender?
I just saw that too. No, and it made me like I didn't go any deeper than that. I read it and the I had two thoughts. The first was that's cool. The second one was you have to be licensed to be a bartender?
I was surprised by that too back in the day. I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays maybe, but back then,
But I don't think you have to be a licensed bartender. I think the bar has to be licensed, but I could go work at a bar. I don't have to go pass my, do I have to pass anything?
I
Bartenders, we need to call in.
I think that if you do, then you can get better jobs at better places.
Yeah, maybe. I could see how you, I know that there's bartending schools and
Yeah,
whatnot, right? Where you
yeah.
go and blah, 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 blah. But maybe you do have to get licensed though, at the very base level of sign off on you're serving alcohol to people, you gotta cut them off, da 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 da. Like you might have to do a quick course of, online thing, and then now you're a licensed bartender.
Well, when I saw it on the internet, I did take one extra effort, one extra step, and Googled it to find out if it was true. And it did say, yes, he was licensed. So I don't know if you had to be back then or not, but he definitely had some sort of a license that made him a professional bartender.
Did you use the AI Google part? Did you just read the top line?
No, I did not read just the top line.
Okay, you went in.
Well, I scrolled down enough to see that there were articles written about it, and I could read the first three sentences of the articles, but I never
Good,
clicked any of them open.
good.
Uh,
That's good
but
research.
but I do thank you. But I do like this was a man of many talents, and maybe it was at a time where you had to have multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what, this presidency, especially the way I'm running it, creating a lot of enemies, and I might need to fall back on another skill set.
I heard the comedian Eddie Ift. I can't remember if I've shared this on the show, but Eddie Ift talked about how they need to make the presidency like jury duty. Like it goes out and you're selected and you're bummed that you're like, oh man, this is going to take a lot of time and take me away
Might
from my
get
family.
assassinated.
Is a real bummer. That's what the presidency should be. It should be a burden and not something people run for.
That is funny.
Yep.
Okay, barrel or not, number two, coming from another listener, telling your family what to buy you for Christmas. On one hand, I often feel the pressure of choosing the right gift for some family members. Do I risk something a little left field this year, or do I go for the wow, you really know me? Or do I go with another hooded sweater or item that they already have a closet full of? I should know them, right? Isn't the point to try to get them to get to know them well enough that you surprise them with something that really lights them up? But then again, it's way more practical to just get exactly what they need. The tradition of my wife's family is always to ask people what they want. It's cool with me. I can always point them towards some items that I need. But then again, Christmas Day does lose some of the magic because of it. Anyways, I know you'll both have the right answer for this, and I'm sure the holiday spirit is strong. Keep work, Jamie.
Jamie, thank you. And it is a no barrel. It is clearly a no barrel. It is as no barrel. And you know how no barrel I am on wedding registries, right? I hate them worse than anything. I find them horribly tacky. And you just don't do that. You don't either ask people what they want or tell somebody what you want, right? That's the whole point. If you want that, go buy it yourself. Like, especially for these gifts that families are giving to each other, it's not like he's asking for you know what I really want is a Porsche 911. And, like they're all these kind of family in-law gifts are, let's be quite frank, for most of us in the $50 to $100 range, right?
Yeah.
If you want that, you go buy that yourself. You don't need to get it for Christmas. If it's anything you want, go buy it yourself. The whole point of Christmas is even the tiniest bit of surprise.
Well, it's thoughtfulness is the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And
Thoughtfulness. Sorry.
this removes all of the thought.
Yeah.
So you're right though about the price point too, is that's now part of the conversation.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, we're doing a gift exchange. The limit is whatever the limit is. Don't go beyond that. So
Yep.
it's completely reverse engineered, where it's not only is there no thought put into it because you're providing me with the list, I'm
There's no
just
care.
checking things
There's
off
no
your
love.
list to a certain price point.
Yeah.
And you know what? I bought one that's only half the price, which means I now have to get you a second gift to come up to the price. It's like it completely eradicated all of the meaning.
It's very silly. I understand this kind of thing for inter-office gift giving
Yeah, yeah.
kind of stuff, right? I mean, like it's because we don't really want to do it, but we have to do it, and so let's throw a price on it so nobody goes crazy and nobody feels like they have to go crazy and die. But for family, heck no.
I've done better at sometimes than, or better some years than others at giving thoughtful gifts.
Yes.
But where I've landed at, I think this year and probably the last couple of years is we do have even Amazon wish lists that we just send the other family members the link to. Um, and I operate off that to get them what they want. But then I always also include a thoughtful gift
Yeah.
that is a surprise that they don't know about that is specific to them.
Kind.
So I think
Christmas
that
spirit.
that's my current solve. But moving forward, I would like to abandon the list entirely.
Yeah, nobody needs it.
It
Like,
just the problem is the reason I haven't done it yet is that it takes that much more time and effort on my part to think and formulate. But what I really should do, and I think the years where I've been successful at it is I have a list on the notes app on my phone, and throughout the course of the year, I'll have the list of names of people, and I'll be somewhere and I'll see something that that person wants, and I could just give it to them in July, but instead I go, you know what? They don't need it right now. I'm going to keep this for Christmas.
smart.
And then I get it, store it, warehouse it. Christmas rolls around, and I look at the list and I go, oh, that's right. That's what I got for that person. Boom.
I'm going to say also, I'm going to go one further here, or just a general statement on Christmas. Like for children, children don't have their own money. They can't buy their own things, right? So I get how getting a kid what they want, like not telling them you're going to get it, but really sussing out what does this kid really want, right? And kids obviously are making Christmas lists all the time. And so that's good there. Adult to adult, though, Christmas should not be about what you want. You have your own money. Again, you can buy what you want. Christmas should be purely about things that you would have never considered. Maybe things that are not very useful. Maybe things that are, something that you wouldn't get for yourself, basically, is what Christmas should be.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Adult to adult.
I'm here for it. I agree
Yeah.
with you. Agreed. Okay, moving on. Funny that you should mention a Porsche 911 because our final barrel and awe comes from a listener, and I'm going to play that for you now. Volume up.
This must have come up before. It has to have, but maybe not. Having a nice car as a surfer. I say, at least for East Coasters, no barrel. We're dealing with like the elements a little bit more, like rain, snow, mud, dirty ground. A lot of times to surf here, you gotta like get in the sand to check the waves. So you're dragging sand in and out. After a wintry session, you're dripping in salt water. A lot of times you go right to the shower, so you're just dripping salt water all over your car. Shit's getting rusty. Your seatbelt's getting salt water stained, and that starts squeaking. And if you're surfing enough, your car is just getting pretty jacked up. California, the time I was out there, you can get in and out of the water without essentially sometimes even touching the sand. But anyway, having a nice car as a surfer, I say no barrel. Talk it out. Keep working. Thanks, guys.
Talk it out.
Let's
What do you
talk it
got?
Yeah, it's a no barrel. I'm just gonna say uh especially okay, so if you have I always had I didn't like the show, but what was the David Duchovny as a writer?
Yeah, Californication.
Californication. He had a Porsche Boxster, I think. It might have been, I can't remember what it was, but it was a really beat up Porsche in there, right? And that was his like, I think he got it from his big book advance and now he's down on his luck, but he still has the car and it's just kind of a beater, right? I always
It
liked that look.
it's a Porsche 964 Carrera Cabriolet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car, right? But it was
Yeah.
totally beat up in the show.
Yeah.
Uh, I like if that's your surf car, because that's your car, because somehow you got a Porsche, you know, whatever, and then you've fallen on hard times and you couldn't sell the Porsche or whatever for whatever reason. I'm all for it. If it's a beater fancy car, but if it's like a fastidiously kept, if I went down to the parking lot and saw a Ferrari there and a surfer coming out of the water getting into their Ferrari, I'd be like, you're a butthole. You are a straight up dingle. The like, don't do that. You have enough money to have a Ferrari. That means you also have enough money to have a 15-year-old Volkswagen Jetta.
Right.
That's your surf car, man.
Yeah. See, I think it's all relative. The Ferrari, of course, seems absurd.
Well, okay, so let's go down. Well, where's the line? Where because there is a line, right?
Well, no, but the line for me isn't about the car specifically. It's about how you treat the car. So I think, and this agrees with both of your points, if you are being snobbish about the car, oh, it can't get sand in my car, or nothing can get wet. It might smell like mildew in here, or something like that, then the car's too fancy.
Yeah.
I think I've always bought cars specifically for surfing. It was like, what can I fit surfboards in and can I not worry about getting messed up? And over the years, my cars that I've driven have gotten nicer and nicer, but that rule still remains. They were rich, even my new current car was purchased for surfing specifically,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
I
And
mean,
so as long as you're putting the horse before the cart, basically,
sure. But I do think though that there is a line when a car, if you saw it in the parking lot and saw somebody getting out of the water and going to that car, you would say think they were a bad person that you didn't want to know.
Tesla,
Tesla's fine.
uh,
What's
Range
Range
Rover,
Rover? Range Rover's fine. But we're starting to get there, right?
G
If
Wagon.
uh, G-Wagon's fine, but we're getting close.
We're in the $150,000 range. How
I
much
know
fancier
it's
do you
one
get?
step, but I see G-Wagons and Teslas are obviously Teslas, G-Wagons and
Range Rovers.
Range Rovers, a bunch, right? I can imagine it's just some dad and we dropped the kid, rich dad dropped the kids off, took the Range or the G to the beach. I wouldn't judge him immediately.
Well, see, this is why
Ever.
it's all relative because a lot of people listening to this they think that's absurd. That that the threshold should be a lot lower. They don't see G Wagons every day of their life. They don't see Range Rovers every day of their life.
I don't think they would immediately judge even somebody who is, not around those kinds of cars so much. I don't think they would immediately, they might say, whoa, that's a fancy car, right? But I don't think they would hate the person surfer getting in. There's a level where that turns to hate, which I think is the one, it would be it's right on the tip of my tongue. I mean, for sure, any Lambo, any Ferrari, anything that,
Well, the only thing higher priced than the G Wagon, you then get into the $200,000 price range, which we're now talking Bentley, Rolls-Royce,
all of
SUVs,
those,
that
you'd
sort
be
of
a
stuff.
butthole, right?
Which at that point you're absolutely right, which is own a second car.
Yeah.
That is for the beach.
And you were being ostentatious with your wealth just pointlessly in front of everyone at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly. And that car is such a piece of art that it's kind of like, don't get
Rude.
sand in it. Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
rude to get sand in it actually at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody worked real hard. Some Italians worked real hard crafting that car.
Um, this brings up a previous conversation. There was a news story this week that somebody sent me that the Toyota Hilux may be imported to the
I
US.
saw. I like Trump, I think, signed some mini truck thing that they can come in, which I was the good for that.
Yeah, and it was like prices start at $11,000 or something.
Amazing. I
I
mean,
know.
it's gonna be so the Hilux I love.
I know.
Talk
It
about it.
is the ultimate surf vehicle.
Yep, 11th grand. That's perfect. I'm gonna
I
hold out
know.
for that.
I know. Start saving all your spare change.
Yeah, start now.
Okay, well, good show. There was actually a little bit of surfing in the show this week, which is kind of an anomaly.
How's Pipe still on?
Yeah, I've been watching it. You haven't missed anything.
Yeah, guess who's probably not going to watch another day?
Okay, somebody's
This
taken
guy.
off. Somebody named D. Franzman is taking off and getting a little backdoor pocket red.
Maybe that's why my problem with it, this Pipe Pro, not that I want to have a problem with it, but yeah, it's just the 2000 level of it. It's hard to, I'm just talking myself into not watching it. That's just rude.
Well,
I
it's
should
all the
just watch it.
names you don't know with storylines that you don't know, and the surfing is subpar.
Yeah, there we go.
And the
Um,
waves are subpar. That's the other thing. If the waves are pumping, I'd absolutely be tuned in. You know what is good about this broadcast from the little I watched last time is the commentary. Nathan
mm.
Florence has been on the commentary this entire time. John's sitting with him right now doing
Oh,
commentary.
great. Oh,
So
I'm gonna
now we have
tune in
some
for that.
highlights. Yeah,
I'm
there
gonna
you
tune
go.
in for that right there.
People don't listen to us, listen to them.
Oh, perfect.
The other thing worth noting is Matt Warshaw's fund drive for the EOS is going on currently as of Sunday, and I think through the 17th.
Talk about gifting family members things. What a perfect gift the EOS is.
Yeah,
Couldn't be
totally.
better.
And I don't know if you've talked to him at all about the archiving project that he's doing, but it's a whole new thing. And I think has even more kind of staying power and relevance than the current version of the EOS. So donate towards that.
Go subscribe.
EOS.surf. All right, Chaz, I will see you on Monday on Noble Rod, I suppose.
Great. Good show, Bruin.
All right, see you then.
Keep work.
Bye.